Hey guys, it's me, and today I'm going to be talking about Attack on Titan episode 53. Buckle in, I'm talking about a lot. I have notes. If you've not watched my reaction, I would do so. You can find it in the description box below. I have three links. I have a bit.ly link to my Google Drive, a Vimeo, and one through my Patreon, which I want to say thank you for all of those of you who have supported me on Patreon. It's overwhelming for me, honestly, and it's been great. And I have to buy myself a new computer, so this is really helpful for me to be able to use those funds to buy a new computer so I can keep doing these and all that jazz. So, all right. I've had time to process. I've watched it twice. I watched it once, obviously, for my reaction, and then I watched it again when I edited it. And actually, then I kind of watched it a third time. I went back through some choice scenes that I really wanted to unpack. I felt like I didn't get all the stuff I could out of it. So I went back and I watched some select scenes from it. And I think this episode, out of all the episodes we've seen, this is the turning point. I feel like everything that we have watched up to this point has been of the same narrative, and then this episode just kind of, maybe this and last episode, just you just turn a corner and just things are different. And so I really wanted to talk about those. And I'm pretty sure, I was going to say, I'm going to promise you I'm not going to cry in this one. I'm pretty sure I'm not going to. I did not expect to sob like a baby in the reaction, but I did. And it's weird watching yourself cry on tape. I guess on tape, on camera. On tape. Wow, I'm really dating myself. It was weird editing because here I am editing and watching the same scene made me really, really sad. And then I'm also looking at my reaction of me being really sad. And I definitely cried again while editing. So I think I might be able, I think I've gotten most of it out of my system now. So, all right, so if you see me kind of looking to the side, it is because I am looking at notes. I have taken copious amounts of them because this is like the third time I've recorded this because I feel like I've just kind of kept on rabbit trailing. So I really, really want to follow what I've written down just because it's the stuff that I've really thought of and really deeply considered. So, all right, first of all, I do want to acknowledge that I feel like the animation is different. Some people have stated that they thought that the animation feels different this season, meaning both halves of this season. And this is the first episode that I actually agreed with them. The characters don't seem as detailed, the atmosphere doesn't seem as crisp, but that does not mean that it detracts from the story itself. In fact, it's testament to how brilliant this story is and how well crafted it is that although I did notice a difference, I'm obviously sucked in to the characters, and it's totally believable that these are the characters, maybe just told through a slightly different lens. But what do you guys think? Do you guys think that the animation's different, and which one do you like better? Because I would like to hear from you guys, because you guys, in many ways, in fact, in all the ways, as far as I'm concerned, the experts on anime. I am a Janie come lately, where I am new to this. So is this a common thing that animation changes? Anyway, I would like to hear your perspectives. All right. So in the beginning, sounds like I'm reading the Bible. At the beginning, we have Eren, Sasha, Connie, Armin, Mikasa, and Jean, which all these guys are some of the original characters that were in Basic together. And we don't see any members of the old guard in the village itself. They've all been vaporized. And so you really feel like they are now the old guard and they're coming to terms with that. Like they are the senior ones and they're the ones having to make those decisions. And you really saw that through Connie, where Connie's fear, it's definitely expressed in slap happiness and that pun, which from what I understand, people have told me that the pun in Japanese is different than the pun in English, but I mean, it's still a pun. And the fact that Sasha has to smack him to kind of get him back into, game face mode. But the fact that like she smacked him, that was definitely a moment of levity, and I think it was the only bit of humor pretty much in the entire episode. And even that, the fact that he has this manic laughing and she has to smack him, really shows how terrified and resigned they are, that they feel completely and totally out of water, out of sorts, lost. So, and Armin only re-emphasizes that when he can't think of a plan. His plan was to talk to Berholt. He had a belief that diplomacy could work. He could talk, he could reason with them because they were friends. And now he's faced with not only are Reiner and Berholt not their friends, but they are hell-bent on killing them all, and that all the people that they had really relied on, like the Hanji squad, is gone. And maybe in many ways because of Armin's decision. And he has to deal with that. So now he's in this frozen, like, I don't know what to do. Which is a first for him. I feel like Armin, very intelligent, a great, tactician? But he was that when he had the support of older, more experienced people. And now that they're gone and he's there without a parachute, he doesn't really know what to do. And that's obvious. And so I think it's testament to Armin's character that he doesn't just say, I don't know. He's like, I have no clue what to do. Jean, take over. And I think it's definitely a testament to Jean's character to be like, okay, we're doing this. And he does to Armin, like, we're going to rely on you later, but he's going to make those decisions. And he's not brilliant like Hanji or Armin, and he definitely doesn't have the strategy of Erwin, but he definitely is decisive, which is something more than Armin was in that moment. So you got to give Jean credit for really stepping up, which I think is oh my gosh, no, I'm not letting you out. You've already been out. The dog is the last time I tried filming this, the dog was unbelievable, whining constantly. Okay, so I feel like this moment was really pivotal for Jean in that early on in the story, he makes the decision to not join the Scouts, and he takes the easy way, the safe way, and now he is stepping up. So this is really important in his storyline. At least that's what I'm thinking. I mean, he could die next episode. I have no idea. But the fact that he is stepping up really shows how much he's grown. So, okay, let's talk about the bombings. This episode and last episode really feels like, I'm not going to say an homage, but definitely like the creators drew stuff from World War II. For instance, you have the nuclear explosion. Now you have the Colossal Titan that's kind of like firebombing. And you have now Beast Titan that's throwing rocks at high velocity. And they're exploding. And the fact that people are flying up into the air and their bodies are breaking and their blood and the dust is just spraying everywhere. It's very much like mortars from World War II. It really made me think of Band of Brothers, an HBO miniseries that came out in the early 2000s. If you have not seen it, I highly recommend it. Along with the Pacific, which tells the Pacific Theater. I feel like North African theater doesn't get any play at all, which, I mean, I don't know why. I mean, I do know why, but anyway, Band of Brothers, it was phenomenal, but there was a couple episodes where they are in Belgium during the Battle of the Bulge. Band of Brothers follows the 101st Airborne from basic to the end of the war. And so they are in Belgium, I think it's episode 6, and they are just being bombarded by artillery, and the fraction and the explosions and the wails and the screams. It's just like what we see in Attack on Titan. So I have to think that the creators used that type of weaponry as inspiration for what Beast Titan was doing. And I'm really interested to see how the whole narrative plays out, because I do see some similarities with World War II, and I wonder how much of what happened during World War II inspired a lot of what they have in this story. So, I don't know. All right, so the kind of in keeping with the bombardments and Beast Titan, the title, which comes from something that Beast Titan says, where he talks about the perfect game. And when I first saw the title, I was very confused. I thought it was going to be more of a cat and mouse thing, and like everything was going to go great. I could not have been farther. It could not have been farther from the truth. I could not be more wrong. Beast Titan is talking about how he has a perfect game in terms of baseball pitching, which I thought was interesting because there's been, and maybe a little weird, because there's been no mention of baseball. There's been no references. There's been no images of baseball that I can remember. And then when he makes an obvious baseball reference, it just seemed very out of place, which could be significant. It could not be. So it could be that that the village people are from a society where they actually have baseball. Maybe the society is more similar to our own, or at least they came from a society that was more similar to our own. And then because of things, they are on the outs, and then you have the people who are in the wall, and then you have that conflict. So based on the baseball reference, I'm really wondering if the universe that is created is actually kind of similar to our own. We're just seeing a very odd, narrow piece of it in terms of the conflict around the wall. I don't know. All right, so after you have like the people being blown to bits, and that was just graphic and horrifying, but not overtly so where it was nauseating. It really made you feel it, but it wasn't like a Tarantino film, which I really feel, yeah, that's thank you, creators, for that. But you have Erwin and Levi, and they are talking, and their conversation is actually pretty similar to the band of our main characters in terms of like, what are we gonna do? What's the plan? And Levi is asking Erwin, what's the plan? And it really feels like Erwin doesn't have a plan, so it sort of parallels our previous, our previous scenes inside the wall. But obviously we know he does have a plan, which, heartbreaking. So everything looks hopeless. Like, I don't see anything good happening from this. I don't. The Thunder Spears are ineffectual. Aaron, their like big gun, gets kicked on top of the wall, and he has his bell majorly rung. I thought that the mechanism of him being launched was thematically significant because it was the Colossal Titans' kind of introduction to the story that kicked Aaron out of his village. And now that Aaron has returned back to his village, the Colossal Titan physically kicks him out of his village. And I mean, that can't be coincidental. That just can't be. So I don't know. I thought that was an interesting little tidbit. But I mean, it does seem hopeless. I mean, it really is kind of an exercise in watching people feel impotent and how they respond to a loss of hope, and how they perform in times of absolute hopelessness and fear. Oh, Abby, she's gonna. Thank you. Okay, just go away. Just go away. She's so needy. She's so needy. She's very sad that my parents aren't here. Just lay down. Thank you. All right, so let's kind of switch gears a little bit. I mean, I guess we're talking about theme. What kind of makes me feel like this episode is very different, and it kind of changes the trajectory of the narrative, would be the fact that the story initially started with a small band in basic, and then the ensemble of characters gets bigger and bigger as time goes on. You have the inclusion of Hanji, you have Erwin, you have Levi, you have Moblit, you've got, oh gosh, you just have a ton of characters, and the cast of characters balloons, and now it's being distilled back to our core group of people, where all the people that were supportive and got them there are now falling by the wayside. They've been unceremoniously killed off, and now we have a core squad, and I really want to know what their squad is going to be called now, or whether they will be called anything in particular, because I mean some of them were part of the Hanji squad, but they're no longer there. I guess maybe Levi squad. I guess they would be the Levi squad because he's the remainder, but they're isolated from their squad leader, and it makes me feel like Levi's gonna die. I don't know when, I don't know how, but I feel like narratively that's gotta happen. So okay, Erwin and his death. So I didn't expect Erwin to die at the beginning of the episode. I mean, when you watch my reaction, I'm just but as everything goes to hell in a handbasket. Things become bleaker and bleaker, and it just, yeah. You have Erwin, who is coming to terms with the fact that he desperately wants to know what's in the basement. Pretty much all the decisions that he's made up to this point is to get him to the truth. And now he's realizing, I'm never going to get there. Or I can run and go to the basement. I mean, I guess that's option open to him. But humanity is depending on him and the lives of all these new recruits. And he makes the absolute sacrifice. Not only is he going to die, but he's going to die without learning the truth. In many ways, he's passing on the torch of leadership to Levi. Levi has to make that decision for him. He doesn't make it. Levi realizes kind of what's going on and takes the bull by the horns and is like, you are going to die. You are going to do this. This is what's going to happen. And Erwin kind of relaxes in that decision. And oh man. So yeah, he's never going to know what's in the basement. And it seems like there is guilt. He feels guilty that all these people, he'd sacrificed all these people to kind of selfishly pursue his dream of learning the truth. And so now he has to make the decision, do I sacrifice myself to make their lives and their deaths worth something? And he does. And that's just so beautiful and sad and just, oh, I mean, dang. It kind of reminds me a bit of Moses in the Old Testament, where Moses, his whole point was he was going to lead the people to the promised land. And Erwin was leading the people to the promised land, essentially, to reclaim their land, very much like in the Old Testament, where they are going to reclaim the land that was given to them. And he doesn't get to go. He gets to see it, he's close, but he doesn't actually get to go. Just like Erwin, he's so freaking close, but he can't get there. And so he has to pass on the responsibility to the next generation, just like Moses. I don't know whether that's intentional on the creator's part, but you can definitely see the parallels. So maybe, that's kind of like, is it Jung's collective and the collective narrative? We all have the same stories that we just tell because who knows? But needless to say, I think there's some definite parallels there. And yeah, I mean, there's other things I could talk about, like how the show is brilliant in showing trauma, but I feel like I've kind of already talked about those things, so I'm going to skip those notes. That was so sad. I was not expecting to be as, like, impacted by this. It just feels like the father that was going to protect them all is now gone. They are alone. So not only does he not get what he so desired, but then you derive those emotions, but also the emotions of knowing that, like, they are completely and totally isolated. And I really want to know what's going to happen with Levi. Like, is Levi going to kill the Beast Titan? I don't think so. I think Beast Titan's going to kill Levi. Or some, I don't, because we don't know enough about Beast Titan. He still has a large role to play. So either Levi is unsuccessful, maybe he drives him off, or Levi dies in the conflict, and then Beast Titan is able to then kind of, Eren is able to meet Beast Titan, or like the whole crew, and then they're able to kind of figure out what's going on. I don't know. But I do think it's cool that he's going to, like, go from Titan to Titan to Titan and use Beast Titan sentries against him. That's kind of cool. So, but I don't see good things happening in the next episode. I just don't. One last thing. I totally, because of what, obviously Erwin's death, I totally forgot that Armored Titan got up, that, like, Bertholdt is still in the game. And I have a ton of questions about that, because he transferred his consciousness to his Titan body. So I assume that means he cannot transform back because, he doesn't have a head. So does that mean that he has the weaknesses of all the other Titans? For instance, the reason why the Titans have that weakness is because, there is, like, that, like, especially, like, the large Titans, like, there's a person there. So since he doesn't have, like, his consciousness is now throughout the entire Titan body, is he incapable of being killed in the traditional fashion? And if he isn't, how the heck are they going to take him down? Because not only then is he armored, but then he doesn't have the weaknesses of a hidden human body. So I thought, I was like, I don't know. And that'll be interesting to see how that plays out. I mean, because right now you've got a small troop of people. You've got probably some recruits are going to make it. Probably not many, but a few. Levi may or may not make it. But they're fighting a huge mass of well-trained, they're not well-trained, maybe well-disciplined Titans. Yeah, they're not well-trained at all. Where'd that word come from? Disciplined, like they're definitely following orders from Beast Titans. So you have all those people, or all those Titans. You also have Beast Titan, Colossal Titan, Armored Titan, and weird, creepy Turtle Titan that talks. It's like a duckbill platypus meets turtle meets human. It's awful. He's got to be the creepier one, the creepiest out of all of them. I don't know. So you have all of those. I just don't see how they're going to be successful. But I do know that someone at some point is going to be in the basement, because they would not have made it such an important thing in the story without having at least someone go there. I'm worried it's going to be empty, or that it's just going to be just more cryptic questions or whatever. There's going to be maybe one thing answered, but, like, not a lot. That's kind of what I'm feeling, so we'll see. All right, sorry, that was a lot, and I'm sorry it was so long, but I hope I'm not going to say enjoy my reaction, but definitely watch it and experience the feels with me. I'm gonna go take care of these animals that are so high maintenance. While I was filming the last, this is my, like, second or third time filming this. The cat threw up. Like, So I had to like stop and do that, and Abby's whining. Oh my gosh. So I'm ready to go to bed. All right, well, I will be uploading my, not reaction, but my second watching of the first episode of Steins Gate soon, and then I will be also be doing my reaction to Steins Gate episode 2. All right. Till next time.